Hello everyone and welcome to Definite Hearing. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what is high frequency hearing loss. So whether you think you have high frequency hearing loss, whether you have high frequency hearing loss, or if you just want to learn more, I am glad you're here. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to making more great hearing loss related content for you. I hope you stick around to the end of this video because if you do, I'm going to share a story that someone just recently shared with me about their experience with high frequency hearing loss. The definition of high frequency hearing loss is a degree of hearing loss in the higher frequencies. These higher frequencies are crucial to understanding speech clearly, especially female voices, and in perceiving certain environmental sounds. Common causes of high frequency hearing loss include noise exposure, aging. You may have high frequency hearing loss due to genetic reasons, certain medical conditions, and/or medicine side effects. You may have high frequency hearing loss if you have difficulty understanding female voices, but can hear male voices decently well. And I will say understanding. You may be able to hear someone is talking with a higher pitched voice, but you may not be able to understand as well what they are saying. But you find it's easier to understand male voices or lower voices. Another indicator that you may have high frequency hearing loss is that you cannot hear environmental sounds. This could include you cannot hear birds, screechy car brakes, watch alarms, and other high-pitched sounds. A great indicator that you can't hear something that someone else can hear is they will say, "Oh, that sounds horrible," and you just can't hear it. Now, if you find yourself in this situation, you want to get a proper diagnosis of what your hearing loss looks like. In order to get a proper diagnosis, simply book an appointment with a local licensed audiologist. Have them perform an audiogram or an objective observation of your hearing based on your response to this test. This will map out your hearing loss and help you visualize and understand what kind of hearing loss you really have. And as a doctor of how sound interacts with your ear, the audiologist will recommend treatment options for your hearing loss. Now, we all age, so as far as hearing loss prevention, most of us will experience hearing loss at some point in our lives. Now, I have had hearing loss my whole life, it's genetic, and I do have a high frequency hearing loss. This means that it is more difficult for me to understand higher pitched, typically female voices. It also means I cannot hear car brakes, bird singings, and other high pitched sounds without my hearing aids in. Having my hearing aids in drastically improves my chances of hearing these sounds. You can possibly prevent high frequency hearing loss by protecting your hearing. This includes wearing ear protection when you're in loud environments and scheduling regular audiology appointments to understand if you are losing your hearing. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of this video. I met someone this last week that shared his experience with high frequency hearing loss and realizing that he had it. So he was in college. His aunt, for some reason, had just gifted him a new digital watch. Now, digital watches were brand new. They were the new bee's knees, I guess. And he was in college and he was taking a test. He felt like everyone was looking at him during the test, or that he perceived that people thought he was cheating. So he kind of hunkered down more and more. And all of a sudden, the test proctor was standing in front of him and said, "Would you just turn off your watch alarm?" And so he didn't realize, though, that it had been going off. And he later found out that he had a high frequency hearing loss, and it all made sense. The crazy thing is, I can actually relate to this. I definitely had an experience in middle school where I had a watch alarm that could not turn off, and I just could not hear it. And so it would go off, and all my people around me would be like, "What? Whose is that?" And finally someone said, "Emily, you have a watch alarm that will not turn off." And for the life of me, I couldn't hear it, but it was a problem. And I can't remember, I think I just ended up throwing the watch away because it was so stressful for me to know that I had a watch that would beep that I couldn't hear. So I can definitely relate to that man that I met this week that has high frequency hearing loss. Has anything like this ever happened to you? If so, I'd love to hear in the comments below. So now you know what high frequency hearing loss is. If you have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to making more great hearing loss related content for you. Thanks so much for watching. Stay strong, stay amazing, and have a great day. Bye.